we're doing something different today. Let's rock that Rectech at 225. I've got plenty of Applewood pellets, Bear Mountain pellets from a previous cook. The first thing we're going to mess with is this rack of ribs. I'm going to do some minimal prep work on it and hit it up with a sweet profile. I'm going to kick it off with some of this warm spice. Next, I'm going to come up with some of this cherry on top. And we can't forget about the sweetest peaches. Peach rub. We're going to flip it and do the same exact thing on the opposite side. And we're going to put this rack of ribs to rest in the Rectech rocking 225. I normally do like a 4, 1.5, but in this particular case, I'm going to do like a 4-2. I'll explain after a while. This is 4 hours later. No spritz, no nothing. And I'm not going to add anything to the wrap. I'm just going to wrap it up and put it back on the cooker for another 2 hours. Here's my pork shoulder. I'm going to start off by removing the fat cap. I don't have any use for it on this cook. I'm going to do a base coat of salt and pepper, HEB brand. Light coat. I'm going to jump on that maple sugar bourbon pork candy. This stuff smells the way it tastes. It's just amazing. Can't forget about that sweet jalapeno. Here, we're going to top it off with some of that pecan. That's right, pecan. Not pecan, not pecan, pecan. We can't forget about this pork belly. I'm just going to go salt, pepper on the pork belly. Both sides, all sides, front and back, edges. The top. I'm going to place them into the wire rack into the refrigerator for about 8 hours. Here we are. It's about 8 hours later. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the Rectech. We're about 5 minutes to 9 p.m.-ish. And fast forward to 7 a.m. the next morning. This is what it looks like. There's my pork shoulder. And my pork bellies. My pork bellies are done. Completely done. To perfection. I've got the pork shoulder. Still needs some time. Look at these pork bellies. This is an overnight cook. No spritz. No foil boat. No wrapping. No nothing. Straight up 225 all night long. They're done. I'm just going to wrap them in foil and place them into my oven. That's the pork shoulder. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in this foil tray so that I can steam the shoulder, okay? Remember, we're making tamales, so we got to get that meat very, very soft. We're not making sandwiches. Here's that pork belly. Looks like a freaking candy bar. Look at that. Would you take a bite? Seriously. I'm going to go ahead and chop it up. It smells so good. You guys, the flavor on it is just popping. And it's just salt and pepper, just amazing. Remember the rack of ribs? We're going to go ahead and pop the bones and all the gristle and cartilage completely out of the rack. You know, throw that aside. Ready for a sandwich? No. We're going to go ahead and, you guessed it, chop it. Chop, 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 baby. We're going to chop this rack of ribs. And it's fantastic, by the way. Look at that. It's so good. Remember, that's my sweet profile. And here is my pork shoulder. We're going to pop out the bone. Comes out, no issues. Nice and clean. I want to go ahead and chop it, but I got to remove all the non-edible stuff, like that nasty stuff right there. You don't want to eat that stuff. Come on now. Let's get rid of it. That's trash. And it's just falling apart. Look at that. Perfectly cooked for what I need it for. But I'm going to go ahead and chop it. That's right. I'm going to chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop. I wish I had a slap chop. A slap chop probably chop it too. So there's my pork belly. There's my rack of rib. And that's my pork shoulder. And I'm topping it off with some of that delicious Rodney Scott sauce. And a little bit more salt and pepper. And mix it up. Now guys, remember, we're not making sandwiches here. We're making tamales. So the protein has to be wet. So I'm going to come back with some of the juices that I collected off of that pork shoulder cook. And I'm going to drizzle the protein with it. Just to keep it moist. Okay? It's so good. I tasted it. It's just aces. For the masa, I'm going to go with this already made in-store, already prepared. I've never used it before. This is my very first time. I'm going to throw it in a mixer, throw some salt in it. This is where you can get creative. You can add, some manteca in there. You can add some salt. I just do some salt. Any kind of spices that you want, okay? And just get it to that consistency there. There's my secret Tamale Texas tool for the masa. Like you see my corn husk right there that I'm sliding the masa on. They've been soaking in water for about a good hour before this. So I put the protein in there and I folded it over, masa to masa, roll it and tuck it. There's number one. Let's go ahead and do a second one for you. I'll spread, just a thin coat of masa. I'm going to fold it over, masa to masa, roll it, and tuck it. There's tamale number 2. Here's number 3, guys. Again, we're just going to fold it over, and then we're going to roll it from the fat side to the thin side. And then we're just going to tuck it. And you want to place these aside, like on the table or on a cookie sheet like this. This is what I like to do. I put them on a cookie sheet. Don't ask me how many they ended up with. I lost count. Don't ask me how many dozens. Here's my pot. Alright, it's already steaming. I turned the heat down a little bit. And I put all the tamales in it. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and there's some extra corn husks that I had left over. And place them on top. It'll help in the cooking process. So that I can put the lid on. And keep it at a low temp. It's steaming for 2 hours, guys. 2 hours. Now, here's the finished product. I've got a plate of tamales sitting right here. You could have some rice and beans with it as well. I don't. But, I mean, hey, they're good. I've got a cold beer. And I'm going to go in for a bite. And, guys, y'all really have to try this. These tamales came out fantastic. They're just fantastic. So I hope you guys give it a shot. Don't get intimidated. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.